Tonight, we will dive into an event that has shaped the modern world as we know it, not as an ally, but rather a German soldier awaiting an unfortunate fate. So lay back, let your head sink softly into your pillow, and immerse your mind into history's lost perspective. This is Doomsday, June 6, 1944. You wake to the sound of the sea. It's not the sound of battle, not yet, just the steady rhythm of waves collapsing against sand and stone. A cold wind moves through the narrow slits of the bunker, brushing against your face as if the ocean itself is trying to whisper something it can't quite say. It's still dark outside. You can't tell how long you slept, if you even did sleep. The air smells of metal and oil, and there's a faint hum of the generator somewhere behind the concrete wall. Your hands ache from the damp cold, your nails rimmed with dust and grime. You are 22. You haven't seen your home in nearly a year. Your uniform, feldgrau, field gray, feels heavier now than it ever has. The wool scratches against your skin. You shift, feeling the rough texture of sand grinding into your boots, into the folds of your trousers. Somewhere in the dark, someone coughs. Rolf, you hear? It's Muller, your loader. He's still half asleep, his voice thick and quiet. Time. You glance at your wristwatch, though you can barely see the dial. Just before 5, you murmur. Outside, the wind grows stronger. The smell of salt thickens. You take a deep breath, the kind that rattles faintly in your chest, and you listen. It's quiet, almost too quiet. The beach below is hidden by fog, but you can imagine it. The long sweep of sand, the stakes, the mines buried just beneath the surface. The tank traps like broken crosses jutting from the tide line. The sea looks peaceful in the dark, but you know it's a lie. They've been saying it for weeks now, that the invasion will come, that the Allies are gathering somewhere across the channel, thousands of ships, tens of thousands of men. But it's been so long since the rumors started that part of you stopped believing it. You've convinced yourself maybe it won't happen. Maybe the war will just fade away. You close your eyes and lean against the cold steel of the MG-42. Your hands run over its frame, familiar, worn smooth where you've held it too many times. The smell of gun oil mixes with the salt air. Behind you, the bunker hums faintly. The radio, the faint scrape of boots, the mutter of cigarettes being lit. Someone tries to joke, says something about the Tommy cowards, and a few men laugh softly. You don't. You think about home, the cobblestone streets, your mother's garden, your brother's laugh before he left for the Eastern Front. You wonder if he's still alive. You don't allow yourself to picture otherwise. Then something shifts in the distance. It's not loud, not yet. It's a low, distant rumble. So far away it might be thunder. But it doesn't roll like thunder. It pulses, steady, mechanical, deliberate. You freeze. So does Miller. He looks at you, his eyes searching your face in the dim red glow of the emergency lamp. You both know. Everyone knows. You move to the firing slit and press your eyes to the periscope scope. At first, there's only the dark horizon. Then, flashes. Small, sharp bursts of light along the sea line. 1, 2, 3, then dozens, then hundreds. You blink, unsure if you're dreaming. The flashes multiply, spreading across the horizon like fireflies, except they're not fireflies. They're guns, cannons, ship batteries. And then the sound comes. The first wave of artillery hits like the sky collapsing. The entire bunker shakes. Dust and sand cascade from the ceiling, falling into your hair, your eyes. You drop instinctively, pressing yourself against the cold floor as the world explodes above you. It's not just one blast, it's hundreds, thousands. The air is alive with vibration, with the sound of steel tearing, concrete cracking. The walls groan, but hold, for now. Positions! The lieutenant's voice cuts through the chaos, hoarse but steady. You drag yourself back to the gun, hands trembling, breath sharp. Muller loads the belt, his fingers fumbling in the dim red light. You can feel your pulse hammering through your body, a deep, relentless rhythm. Fear tastes like iron in your mouth. Outside, through the narrow viewing slit, the world is turning orange. The horizon glows with fire, the ships, the explosions, the flashes of guns larger than any you've ever seen. It's like watching the sea itself ignite. Somewhere far down the beach, another bunker answers with its own fire. The rhythmic stutter of an MG-42, distant, sharp. It's quickly drowned by artillery. You can almost hear the scream of men through the static of the radio before the line cuts. Then you see them. At first, they're dots, dark shapes moving through the surf. Then the dawn begins to lift, the fog thins, and you realize those dots are landing craft. Hundreds of them. You swallow hard. You grip the handles of the gun tighter. The lieutenant shouts coordinates, orders, his voice cracking with the effort to be heard over the thunder. Fire! The MG-42 roars to life, and the air inside the bunker becomes a storm of sound. The vibration pounding into your chest, your ears, your bones. The shell casings clatter across the concrete like rain. Miller feeds the belt, shouting over the gun's scream. Outside, the world is chaos, sand and blood and smoke. The sea churning red under the rising sun. You can barely see what you're firing at anymore. Just movement, just shapes. You stop thinking, you stop feeling, you just exist. One breath at a time, one trigger pull at a time. And then, for a brief moment, you wonder what any of it means. You wonder if this is really defending your homeland, or if it's just another place, another shore, another day that history will soon forget. The thought fades as another explosion tears through the air above you. You taste grit on your tongue. You don't even know when it got there. Sand, dust, powdered concrete shaken loose from the ceiling with every impact. Your mouth is dry and somehow salty at the same time. It stings the back of your throat when you swallow. Your eyes water not from crying, you tell yourself, but from the smoke and the recoil and the oil burning in the hot barrel in front of you. You are in the bunker. You are the bunker. Your ears are ringing so hard it's almost like silence. But your body knows it's not silent. Your bones know it's not silent. They feel the machine gun ripping the air, feel each burst punch through your shoulders and wrists, feel the whole Atlantic wall vibrating under your knees as naval guns hammer the coastline. You keep firing. You don't aim at people anymore, not really. That stopped minutes ago. You just aim at movement. Anything shaping up through the gray water, anything that looks like it's getting closer to the beach. You see helmets sometimes. You see the round, almost featureless silhouettes of men splashing through waist-high surf, water exploding around them, some dropping, some disappearing. You try not to think about what that means. You don't have time to count them. If you tried, you would go mad. Mueller is yelling, "New belt! New belt!" Even though he's right next to you, you can see his lips, see the panic in his face, the way he keeps darting his eyes to the entrance corridor like he's waiting for someone to run in and tell you to fall back, or that you're surrounded, or that you're done. The belt clinks as he feeds it in, and your hand finds the trigger again, almost without your mind being there. It's muscle now, it's reflex. You feel the MG42 heating up under your palms. You smell it. Burnt oil, hot steel, that sharp metallic tang that tastes like biting your tongue too hard. You know you'll need to swap barrels soon or it'll seize. You know the drill. You've done it 100 times in training. You've done it blindfolded, laughing with a cigarette in your mouth. You've never done it while the entire horizon is on fire. Outside, dawn is here. It isn't sunrise the way you remember it from home. Gold on the church towers, mist on the river, your mother humming in the kitchen. This sunrise is a dull, dirty gray that glows with flashes of orange and white. You can see the sea now, and all across it, ships. You have never seen so many ships. They aren't just on the water. They are the water. The channel doesn't look like ocean anymore. It looks like moving metal, like a living thing made of steel. Big silhouettes in the back, darker and blockier than anything you've ever seen. Battleships, cruisers, the ones with guns like cathedral bells. Closer in are smaller shapes, hundreds of them like open mouths rushing toward shore, the landing craft. You were told they would come. You were told you are the wall that will break them. You want to believe that. You steady your breathing and fire again. The gun roars. The barrel shivers. Casings spit out to your right, bouncing against Miller's sleeve, his collar, his neck. He flinches as one lands hot against his jaw and sticks there for half a second before dropping to the floor. He hisses, slaps at it, and keeps feeding. You feel the rhythm of the MG. It's comforting, in a way, fast, clean, predictable. You were taught that it is the backbone of the defense. You were taught that from inside these bunkers you can hold off anything. A few men can hold off hundreds. A few guns can hold off thousands. You want to believe that too. Then you hear the impact that you feel in your teeth. One of the naval shells lands close. Not on you, not direct, but close enough that the world goes white for a fraction of a second. Your vision blanks. Your body lifts an inch off the seat and slams back down. You don't hear the blast itself, not clearly. It's more like everything else just cuts. And for a heartbeat, you think, oh, that one was for us. The bunker groans like a wounded animal. The concrete is thick. You helped pour sandbags into the embrasure. You stacked munitions under blankets to keep moisture off. You remember being annoyed by the work. You remember complaining. Now you bless every extra layer of stone, every rusted steel reinforcement someone wedged into the walls 10 months ago. A crack appears in the ceiling above you. Fine lines at first, then a little shower of grit. You blink it out of your lashes. You keep going. Your lieutenant stumbles in from the radio alcove, helmet crooked, blood on his cheek. You don't know if it's his or not. He leans in behind you, yelling so loud you can finally hear it through the ringing. "They're hitting sector to our left harder," he shouts. "Bunker 31 is gone, gone. I can't raise them. You hold this line. Do you understand me? You do not let them through this sector." You nod. You don't think he's lying. You don't think he's trying to be dramatic. You think Bunker 31 is actually gone. That was Jurgen's position. Jurgen, who carved little cards of wood at night with a pocket knife. Jurgen, who traded you cigarettes for letters from home. Jurgen, who always said the English were soft. Your stomach flips. You fire again. You see men diving behind Czech hedgehogs, those steel cross obstacles buried in the surf. Some of them are dragging bodies. Some of them are using the bodies like shields. You don't think they even realize they're doing it. You don't think you do different. You catch flashes of faces between bursts, pink skin, salt water and sand stuck to it, eyes wide and shining and terrified, just like yours. Young, some younger than you, some older, with heavy jaws and days of stubble. You wonder if they were told the same thing you were, that they're protecting their families by killing you before you can reach them. You wonder, in a strange, distant part of your mind, if any of them were thinking of breakfast an hour ago. Your ears start to come back slowly, like someone is turning the world up from underwater. Now you can make out more than just the gun. You hear shouting in English, in a rhythm you don't quite understand, but you've heard before in training recordings. You hear whistles. You hear something else, too. Screams. Not angry screams, not charging battle cries, real screams. High, raw, torn right out of a person. You swallow hard and keep firing. The air in the bunker is getting thick. You can feel the heat in here now like a furnace, like being shut in a boiler room. The machine gun is turning the air oily. You and Miller are both sweating through your wool, through your undershirts. You can smell him, and he can smell you. Fear sweat doesn't smell like work sweat. It's sharper, sour. It clings in the nose. Your hands are starting to hurt. You don't even remember when you burned them. Miller, you shout. Barrel! He nods, already moving. You lift your hands, lock the bolt, tilt the weapon just enough for him to grab the quick change handle with the mitt. The old barrel comes out glowing, smoking at the tip like meat left too long over flame. He drops it to the concrete where it hisses against the damp. New one in, click, lock. You're back on the trigger in seconds. You trained this 100 times. You never thought about what the barrel does after you drop it. Now you see it rolling on the bunker floor, leaving a faint black smear like charcoal. Rounds are good, Mueller shouts. We're still good. You nod, even though you don't believe him, because you've been firing nearly non-stop, and every belt you chew through is one less you'll have when they get closer. And they are getting closer. You can see it now. The nearest landing craft are starting to drop their ramps, and you see whole waves of men surge forward into water that's too deep. Some of them disappearing under the surface right away with packs and rifles dragging them down. Some of them lurching up again, gasping, stumbling, falling. You see a man try to lift another man, screaming something you can't hear, both of them vanishing in a spray of machine gun chatter from somewhere else on the beach. Not you, maybe the bunker down the line that's somehow still firing. For a second, just one, you stop shooting. Your finger freezes because you're watching something that doesn't feel like war anymore. It feels like slaughter. And your stomach twists so hard it almost makes you sick. They keep coming, even when they fall, even when the water turns dark around them, even when sections of the surf are just floating shapes and torn gear and splintered wood and no more movement. They keep coming. That is when a new kind of fear hits you, not fear of dying. Fear that you can't stop them. You thought you'd hold. You thought If you just fired straight and cold and did your training, the sea itself would push them back. You thought that was the point of this place. That was what the Atlantic Wall was, a promise. Now, for the first time, you feel it fracture, because if they are willing to walk into this, then they will not stop. Your throat feels tight. You fire again. The lieutenant is back on the radio shouting coordinates, trying to call artillery from inland batteries, trying to get someone, anyone, to feed you support. You can hear the desperation in his voice now. He's not pretending anymore. He's not doing the for the fatherland speech. He's begging. Send fire to Sector Red 3. Red 3 is overrun. We need static, shell, flash. The whole bunker lurches sideways with a deafening blast to your right. A storage niche in the concrete wall just ceases to exist. You feel the concussion slam through your ribs. Shrapnel hums past your ear with a sound like angry hornets. Something warm hits your cheek. You don't look at it. You don't want to know if it's blood or hot stone. For a moment, everything goes muffled again. Vision swimming, chest heaving. Your pulse is so loud now, it's like drum beats in your jaw. You blink through the dust. Muller? I'm here, he coughs. You look. He's got a cut across his forehead just at the hairline, messy and wet, and already tracking down his eyebrow. There's a tiny white crescent in the middle of the cut, like maybe a sliver of concrete is still stuck in there. His hands are shaking. He doesn't seem to notice. He's still feeding the belt. You love him in that moment, not like a friend, not like a brother, like a part of you, like an arm, a lung. You're not sure if you're alive without him in this bunker. Outside, movement shifts. You start seeing them hit sand, not water. They're lower now, crouched, spreading, using craters for cover, using steel obstacles for cover. Some are firing back now. You can see muzzle flashes, little bursts of light like fireflies close to the ground. You hear the thump, thump, thump of American Browning .30 caliber fire. You hear the crack snap of rifles over open water. Then you hear something worse, a deep mechanical growl down the beach, too steady to be a man. You swing the MG-42 slightly, following the line of fire down past your sector limits, just enough to glimpse what's lumbering forward out of the smoke. A tank. Not a big one, not in your mind. You've seen panthers on the Eastern Front posters, tigers in the propaganda reels. This one, compared to those paintings, looks almost small, boxy, ugly. American markings, stars, water sloshing off its hull as it crawls over the beach obstacles. But it's still a tank, and you are in a concrete box with one firing slit. Your mouth goes dry. Muller, you say quietly. I see it, he says. Where are our panzers, you ask. He laughs once. It's not a happy sound. The lieutenant yells, Panzerfaust! Where's the Panzerfaust? Who has it? Who? We only got the one, and it went to 31. Someone shouts back from deeper in the bunker. 31 is gone, the lieutenant swears. You keep firing at infantry, because that's all you can do. The MG-42 isn't going to stop that tank from getting closer. You know this. You've been told this. You also know that if that tank gets close enough to swing its gun toward your embrasure, this bunker becomes a tomb. You don't let yourself think about it. You can hear the tank's engine now, even over your own weapon. That steady, grinding roar, that metallic clatter as treads chew through sand, through wood, through wire. It sounds patient, inevitable. For a flicker of a moment, your mind goes very far away from Normandy. You see your mother's kitchen. You see the chipped enamel kettle, always a little off-white, always a little rattling on the stove. You see your little brother, not in uniform, not dead, not frozen in the east, but 10 years old again, sitting at the table, swinging his feet, chewing on a piece of bread like it's the best thing in the world. You remember thinking back then that the world was huge, that it would always be there, that you would always be able to go back to it. You fire again. Your hands hurt with every burst. Your wrists feel like someone's driving nails through them. The recoil is starting to work its way into your bones. Your face is hot, then cold, then hot again. Your shoulders ache from hunching forward. Your back is tight from sitting on metal for too long. You can't feel your toes anymore. You can smell cordite, smoke, seawater, machine oil, and something else now, too. Something coppery and sweet that you don't want to name. The beach is chaos. You are chaos. Time stops moving in minutes. It starts moving in breaths. Inhale, squeeze, belt feed, exhale, inhale, squeeze, exhale. New belt, inhale, cough, spit, squeeze, wipe eyes, inhale. You don't know how long this lasts. At some point, you realize you're crying, and you didn't feel it start. Tears cut clean tracks through the dust on your face, cooling your cheeks for a heartbeat before heat and grit find them again. You're not sobbing. You're not even making a sound. Your eyes are just leaking, like the stress finally cracked something inside your skull. You keep going. You don't stop because you can't stop. Because stopping means thinking. Thinking means feeling. Feeling right now will break you. Another shell slams somewhere behind the bunker. The whole room jolts. Something from the ceiling finally gives. A fist-sized chunk of concrete punches down and shatters on the floor, spraying your boots with sharp gray fragments. The lights flicker, then stabilize again in that dim, dirty red. The lieutenant is shouting into the radio, "We are still holding. Repeat, we are still holding. Why is there no artillery on the beach? Where is our..." And then the line goes dead again. You look outside and see something that makes your stomach drop. They're closer, yes, dangerously close. But some of them have gotten past your field of fire and are hugging the blind spots of the bunker line. Some of them are already at the seawall, pressed flat, crawling, using explosives, using flamethrowers, using whatever they carried. You can't hit what you can't see. And when you realize that, an old, cold truth climbs into your chest like ice. The wall was never going to stop them forever. It was only ever meant to slow them down, long enough for help to arrive. And you know now, with a slow sinking heaviness that feels like winter, that no help is coming for you. Not in time, not here. You swallow, your mouth tastes like ash. You lean back from the gun for just a second and let Miller hold it, just to breathe, just to roll your shoulders, just to exist. And in that one stolen second of stillness, of not shooting, of not loading, of not shouting, not obeying, you really hear the outside for what it is. You hear men calling for medics in English. You hear the tank grinding over metal and bone like they're the same thing. You hear waves still coming in like this is just another morning to the sea. You hear someone, maybe 30 meters away, sobbing like a child. You hear Normandy, and you feel very, very small. You wonder if this is what the end feels like. Not heroic, not glorious, not a speech, just gray sky, gray water, gray sand, your hand shaking, and the quiet understanding that this is bigger than you, that history is moving now, with or without you, and you are inside it. You put your hands back on the MG-42. Ready? You whisper. Mueller nods. You fire. Hours pass like that. You don't really remember them. After a while, it stops being a continuous memory and becomes pieces, fragments, still frames burned into the soft parts of your mind. You remember the tank. It finally angles toward you, and for a moment that barrel is pointed straight at the firing slit, and you feel your soul try to climb out of your body. You're sure this is it. You're sure you're about to become light and smoke and bone dust. You duck without even deciding to. Mueller ducks. Everyone ducks. But the shot never comes. Instead, the tank keeps rotating, keeps lumbering past, like you're not even the main problem anymore. Like you are already old news. In a strange way, that hurts. You remember Miller laughing, this broken, wild, almost hysterical sound, his face smeared with gray and black, eyes red, teeth bright in the dim bunker light. You don't know what he's laughing at. Maybe at the fact that you're still alive. Maybe at the fact that the tank just ignored you like you were a stray dog. You remember your lieutenant going quiet. You look back at him at one point, and he's sitting down against the wall by the radio. Helmet off, head in his hands, elbows on his knees. He's still breathing. You can see it. But he's not shouting anymore. His mouth is moving, but not loud. You think maybe he's praying, or maybe he's just talking to someone who isn't here. You remember the smell? By mid-morning, the beach smells like burned oil, salt water, cordite, and cooked meat. You hate that you recognize that last smell, but you do. It's faint, but once your brain names it, it's there, and you can't unsmell it. It sits in the back of your throat like a secret you don't want. You remember reloads becoming slower. Your fingers stop working right. Your hands don't feel like hands anymore. They feel like sacks of meat that respond a little too late. You try to thread belts and you miss the feed, and you have to try again, and you're cursing, and Mueller is cursing, and you both sound tired more than angry. It's not panic anymore. Panic burned off hours ago like fuel. This is just exhaustion. You remember the moment you realize you're thirsty, violently thirsty. Your tongue feels like old leather. You lick your cracked lip and taste salt and grit and something metallic. You don't remember drinking. You don't remember when you last drank anything. You don't have time now. You tell yourself you'll drink later. You tell yourself later like it means something. You remember when the firing from the beach changes? That's important. At first, all the sound from the sand is chaotic. Scattered rifles, bursts of automatic fire, men yelling. Then over time, it becomes more coordinated, more steady. You hear return fire now in longer, more confident bursts. You'll hear heavy weapons you didn't hear before. You hear that deep, hammering thud of something crew serves setting up behind cover and laying down sustained fire, not just wild shots from the surf. That means they're establishing positions. That means they're digging in. That means they're not going back to the water. They're staying. They're staying in France. They're staying in your country. You feel the realization like ice sliding under your ribs. This is it, you think. This is the moment the world changes. Not in Berlin in some speech hall. Not on a map in a general's hand. Here, in the wet sand. In front of this bunker, right now. And you are watching it. And you can't stop it. You keep firing anyway. Because what else is there to do? Sometime near midday. You don't know the exact hour only that the light outside the bunker is no longer gray, but flat and pale. You hear new orders from deeper in the corridor, not from your lieutenant. He's silent now, slumped at the radio with his eyes half closed, breathing shallow, one hand still resting on the handset like he fell asleep mid-sentence. These orders come from a Feldwebel, a squad leader from another position who must have made his way through the trenches behind the bunkers to reach you. He's dirty, limping, eyes bloodshot, face blackened with smoke until you can only barely see pale streaks where sweat cut through the soot. He leans in the doorway, catching his breath, and says, voice low, steady, almost gentle, "Listen, if they get behind us, we pull back to the secondary line. Understand? We don't die in here, we fall back. We regroup." You stare at him. You didn't know there was a secondary line. You're not sure he's telling the truth. But you nod anyway because nodding feels like hope. Muller nods too. The Feldwebel looks at you for a long second. He swallows. His jaw flexes. His eyes flick to the firing slit and the chaos beyond, then back to you. When he speaks again, his voice is even lower, so only you and Miller can hear it. "You did well," he says. "It hits you like a physical thing. You didn't know you needed to hear that. You didn't know how close you were to breaking. You feel something. The day grinds forward like a machine. Little by little, the battle moves past you. You can feel it shifting inland. You can hear it. Mortars landing not just on sand anymore, but behind you, in the fields, in the hedgerows. You hear armor clanking up the draws, pushing inland off the beachhead. You hear German return fire farther back, deeper in, near the gun batteries and crossroads you were told would never fall. You realize something, and it makes the back of your neck go cold. You are no longer the front line. You are still fighting, still killing, still being shelled, still being watched by that tank that might decide at any second to erase you. But the center of gravity has already moved. The war has already stepped around you and continued. You are becoming scenery, a fixed point, a story that will be told by whoever survives long enough to speak. You feel very tired. Your body hurts in ways you don't have names for. Your shoulders feel ground down. Your jaw aches from clenching. Your head throbs behind your eyes like someone is pressing fingers into your skull from the inside. Your ears ring and ring and ring, and sometimes the pitch changes, and for a split second, you're sure you're going deaf on one side, then it comes back in a wave of static, and you exhale in relief. Your mouth is so dry it feels like it's lined with chalk. Your lips are split. When you lick them, you taste salt and dust and the faintest trace of iron. You are so tired, and for the first time today, you are allowed to feel it, because you understand now there is nothing else you can do but slow down, not stop, not yet, but slow. You look at Miller. He looks older than he did this morning. There's soot smeared across his face in thick streaks, black in the creases of his eyelids like war paint. The cut on his forehead has dried into a crusty line. His eyes are puffy and red and raw from smoke, and every blink looks like it hurts. His hands are black with oil and dust, and they tremble even when he's not moving them. "Are you all right?" you ask, voice rough. He gives you this crooked half smile. "I am alive," he says. It's technically an answer. You nod. You don't say it, but you are quietly grateful you're not alone in here. If you were alone, you think you might lie down and not get back up. Not out of surrender, just fatigue, like your body would simply power down. Something in you wants to sleep so badly you can feel it pulsing in your bones, right alongside the ache and the fear. You imagine closing your eyes right here, cheek against the warm metal of the gun, arms still around it, sitting half upright, letting the sound of distant artillery become a kind of thunder, letting the roar of the surf become rain against a window. You imagine going under just for a minute, but you're afraid that if you sleep, you won't wake up, either because of a shell or because your mind has had enough. So you keep your eyes open. You force yourself to breathe slow, steady, controlled. Inhale, exhale. You listen. You listen to the changing shape of the battle, to the way the chaos is moving deeper inland. You listen to the sea, still washing against the shore like it always has and always will. You listen to Miller's breath, ragged but steady. You listen to your own heartbeat. You will remember that sound for the rest of your life, however long that is. By afternoon, the firing from directly in front of your bunker finally begins to thin. Not stop, never fully stop, but thin. The nearest men on the beach are either dead, wounded, and carried off, pinned somewhere you can't see, or already past you. Inland, the landing craft keep coming, reinforcements keep coming, supplies keep coming. You can see men hauling crates and ammunition like a chain of ants that won't break no matter how many you crush. You've run low on belts. You know better than to shout that out loud. You just know. You can feel it in the weight of the ammo crates. You can see it on the floor, in the piles of spent casings, in the smoke rolling off the discarded barrels. You can see how much of your world is already on the floor. The felled Wabel appears again, crouched in the entrance, shoulders heaving, eyes wild and bright. Get ready to pull back, he rasps. Your throat tightens. You nod once. Miller nods. You don't argue. You don't ask where. You don't ask why. You just start doing what you've been trained to do. You clear the gun. You safe it. You take the barrel that's coolest. You grab what ammo you can still carry. Your hands move on their own, practiced and numb. You are methodical, even now. Some part of you refuses to leave the gun dirty, to leave belts tangled, to leave anything useful for whoever comes into this bunker next. You wipe as best you can. You sling the MG-42. Miller throws 2 remaining belts over his shoulder like scarves. You stand, and only then do you realize how long you've been sitting. Your knees nearly buckle. Your thighs are shaking. Your lower back is on fire. You feel suddenly, brutally aware of your whole body. Every bruise, every strain, every little cut and burn and scrape. Your feet feel like stone. Your shoulders feel like someone's been sitting on them for hours. The bunker feels small now, too small. You can smell the trapped heat, the trapped breath of men, the hot metal stink. You can see the walls up close, pitted, cracked, chipped, dusted with fine gray powder. You can see bullet impacts around the firing slit in little spiderweb fractures. You can see a smear of something dark on the far wall that you don't want to identify. You look at Muller. He looks at you. Neither of you says goodbye. You don't have to. You both know that's what this is. You follow the felled Wabel, you move into the corridor, that narrow concrete throat that leads up and back from the gun room into the trench line behind the bunker. The air in here is different, colder, wetter. You can smell damp earth through the cracks. You can smell grass. You can smell mud. You can also smell blood. You step over a form in the corridor. You don't look down. You don't look at his face. You just step wide, careful not to slip. Your boot still slides a little. You feel, more than see, Miller's hand on your back for balance. Overhead, sand and dirt sift down through cracks in the ceiling of the trench cover with every distant impact raining softly onto your helmet, your shoulders like dry snow. The Feldwebel leads you up the slight incline toward the back exit. The sound of the sea starts to fade behind you. The sound of small arms' fire starts to fade in front of you. You start to hear birds again, unbelievably. Somewhere beyond the trench, inland in the hedgerows, a few birds are still singing like it's any other afternoon in northern France. You feel lightheaded. You're not sure if it's exhaustion or shock or lack of water or all of it. You reach the exit hatch. The Feldwebel pauses there, back pressed to the concrete, breathing hard. He looks at you, really looks at you like he's trying to memorize you, then nods toward the opening. "Run low," he whispers. "Stay in the ditch line. Do not stop in the open. If you get separated, keep moving east. Understand?" You nod. "Understand?" he insists, more forcefully this time, because he needs to know you heard him through the ringing. "Yes," you manage. "Good," he says. He swallows. Then he does something that makes your chest go tight. He reaches out and squeezes the back of your neck, just once, like a father would to a son who's about to leave home. Go. You go. You duck through the hatch into open air for the first time since dawn. And for a second, just 1 second, it steals your breath, because the world outside the bunker doesn't look real. The beach behind you is still alive with smoke and fire and motion, but from this angle, it looks like a painting someone dragged their hand across. Smears of black smoke, torn sand, strips of twisted metal. The sea still beating itself against the shore like nothing happened. Bodies like driftwood, craters like open mouths. Inland, the green fields of Normandy stretch out, torn and pocked and burning in places, but still undeniably green. Hedgerows, stone farm walls, a distant line of trees. A farmhouse with part of its roof missing and a little curl of smoke coming out of what used to be the kitchen. You smell wet dirt and crushed grass over the salt now. You hear shouting deeper inland, in German, in English. You hear single rifle cracks and the louder whomp of mortars, the clatter of vehicles, shouting for medics, shouting for ammunition, shouting positions. Above it all, the sky is pale and wide and endless. You blink up at it. For a heartbeat, you feel very small again, but not like prey this time. More like witness. Like you're here to carry this forward, to remember it, to tell someone, if anyone ever asks. Miller bumps into you from behind. "Move," he hisses. You move. You drop low into the shallow trench that runs like a snake behind the bunker positions, half dug, half blown out, and you start moving east, just like the Feldwebel said. Your legs feel numb and hot at the same time. Your shoulders ache under the weight of the MG-42. Your fingers won't fully close around the grip. Your breath saws in and out. Every little sound makes you twitch. Every snap of a branch, every thud of a distant shell, every shout. You expect a bullet at any second. You expect to feel that punch you've always feared, that sudden hot pressure in your side or back or throat. You expect to drop. You don't. Not yet. You just keep moving, one boot after the other, through mud and churned grass and scattered shell fragments, past discarded helmets, past shattered crates, past a field dressing blown open and fluttering like a white flag in the wind. You move because you're told to. You move because you're alive. You move because stopping now means letting go. And you're not ready to let go yet. Not yet. And this is the part you will remember in your sleep years from now. If you get years. Not the firing, not the screaming, not even the faces in the surf. This part, this walk, this slow, stumbling retreat through broken grass and mist and smoke, machine gun slung in your tired hands, ears still ringing, throat raw, eyes gritty, heart pounding soft and steady now instead of frantic. Because in this moment, for the first time since before sunrise, you can finally feel the day. You can feel that it is no longer night. You can feel that time has passed, that the world has turned, that you survived the first great wave of something history will never forget. You can feel, in a quiet, haunted way, that nothing will ever go back to how it was. Not for France, not for Germany, not for you. You understand that you are walking out of one world and into another, and you are carrying the sound of the bunker with you. That sound, the rattle of the MG-42, the crash of the naval guns, Miller's breathing next to you, the hiss of hot metal hitting damp floor, the clink of brass casings, the distant shouts in a language that is not yours, the surf pounding and pounding and pounding the sand, will live in your chest forever like an echo in an empty church, long after the smoke clears, long after the uniforms change, long after people start telling simpler stories about this day. When you close your eyes to sleep, you will still hear it. When you're old, if you get to be old, and someone asks you, what was it like? You won't talk about flags or speeches or maps with arrows. You'll talk about the way your hands wouldn't stop shaking. You'll talk about how the air tasted like metal. You'll talk about how the beach smelled. You'll talk about how your heart pounded so hard you thought it would break through your ribs. You'll talk about how small you felt when you saw the horizon full of ships. You'll talk about the moment you understood you could not stop history from arriving. And you'll talk about the silence afterward, because that is the last thing you remember from June 6th, 1944, as you move inland, step by step, head low, eyes burning, breath steady. The way the guns behind you slowly, slowly, slowly begin to fade, not all at once, not cleanly, not like switching off a light, more like a storm rolling out to sea. Still there, still rumbling, still dangerous, but farther now, farther, farther, until what's left around you is only wind in the hedgerows, distant voices, your own heartbeat, and the soft drag of your boots through wet grass. You keep walking. The world is still shaking, but you're still here. Your eyes are heavy. Your shoulders ache. Your breath is slow. You are tired in a way that has no bottom. Your mind drifts, even as you move. It drifts to home, to quiet kitchens, to warm light, to the sound of bicycle wheels on stone, to evenings with no air raid sirens, to nights without the taste of concrete dust in your teeth, to sleep without the echo of guns. You let those thoughts wash over you soft and slow. You let them carry you forward. You let them hold you together, because you need to rest, because you have earned rest. Because even in the middle of history's fire, even in the middle of the longest day you will ever live, the body still asks for one simple human mercy: to close the eyes, to feel the weight leave the shoulders, to drift, to go quiet. You walk, you breathe, and somewhere behind you, on that beach of torn iron and broken bodies and smoke and salt and fire, the sea keeps rolling in, rolling in, like a lullaby played for no one in particular. Let the surf play, let the day fade, let the bunker fall behind you, let your heartbeat slow, let the voices turn to murmurs, and sleep, soldier, sleep. You made it through the first light of June 6th, 1944. You are still here. You can close your eyes now